All set?
Yep.
Okay, welcome everyone to the Sunbury Parks and Recreation meeting for June 1, 2022, and it is about 5:30 p.m. How about a call to order, Daryl?
Mr. Ghost.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mrs. Cooper.
Here.
All present. We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, approval of our minutes for our last meeting, May 4th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Martin.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper. Go ahead, Daryl.
All right. Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Motion approved. 3 ayes.
Thank you. Okay, on to our visitor section. I'm looking up, I see a couple of bodies out there, but does anyone wish to speak? Okay, let's go on to our unfinished business item. First item on our list is Reservoir Park updates. I know since our last meeting, we had some concerns about the trail and the edging. And I think CT and Wes Hall, we're going to look into that. Daryl, do you have anything further?
Yeah, so I thought Wes would be here to provide the update. I mean, I can tell you what I've heard him say is that he has had more success getting contractors out here of late to address these outstanding issues. But I don't know what the status is of this one. Is this Facemeyer?
Facemeyer,
Yeah, who I think we've got for the other trail as well. So I thought that Wes would be here to maybe provide a little bit more update on that. I don't think that they've got a date scheduled for them to get out there to do it, but clearly Wes has reached out to them. Unfortunately, I don't know the date. So.
And I think the other item was planting of the grass around the edges. Right. I do see a picture here.
Yeah, so I just added a picture. This is from Mrs. Cooper and one of our visitors, I think, when they were on a walk. So this is just a reminder of what it looks like. And you know what we plan to improve.
And so that's the punch list for the trail, and then secondarily we still have outstanding, and we're kind of waiting on management partners' involvement in terms of getting the parking lot moving forward with that, the handicap ramp, and the trash cans, right?
Yeah. So yeah, to that point, I mean that's all part of the larger facilities plan project.
Yeah.
So. Management Partners is going to serve as the owner's representative to assist us with that. The architect is MS Consultants. So they will be looking at all of those items and provide at least a conceptual.
And the fishing pier was part of that too.
Yeah, I think that actually may be part of a separate grant though that Steve is working on through ODNR.
On that agenda tonight. Yeah, I think it's the third reading. Okay, that's right.
Right.
Okay, very good. Anything else on that?
Not on that item.
Anything from our board members? Okay. Let's go to the Fallen Heroes trail updates. I had an email with John Moore with CT trying to get another date, another walkthrough scheduled. I'm not sure if that got scheduled later this afternoon or not. Did it, Daryl?
So they just sent out a note. You, me, Steve, John, if any of the other members want to join us. So it is scheduled for June 9th at 5 p.m. Okay. So we have another meeting at 6 p.m. with a couple of council members. I think actually the two of you. So we're gonna gather at 5 to walk. I think what is considered an alternative route for the trail.
Yeah, we've been out there twice. I think this will be at least the third time. We need to drill that down exactly where we want to go. Right. I think CT's done some surveying since last time we've been out.
They have, and like I said, I think the plan here is to show us where the alternate route would be, and or an alternate route could be. Keep in mind, I think as we've walked it the last couple of times, there have been questions about whether or not the city would need to acquire some easements in order to be able to do that. So hopefully they'll be able to give us a little more guidance on that as well.
Yeah, that was for the possibility of moving the trail up to that higher ground on the.
So where will we need to have that conversation?
So after I said that, I just started thinking, well, if we have more than 2 members, though, we've got a public meeting at that point. So I may have to disinvite you now.
I think you can still do it. You would just have to post it.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
How much lead time do we need on that, on a posting, Kathy? On a Parks public meeting,
It's 2 days.
2 days, 48
Just
hours?
enough to get it
Yeah.
online, so.
Let's do,
Yeah, I'll post it as a special parks meeting and
let's do that, yeah.
then it'll allow you to meet. So we have met the last couple of times on Granville Street where the path crosses over
Right,
from the
right there.
library. Just
Yeah,
right there at the top of the hill.
we've been meeting right
And we
there.
will have time to do that and still get back to the meeting at the town hall by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I need to be back for it as well.
At the
So
municipal
Yeah,
building,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that'll be enough time.
That's
If
a-
not, we can excuse ourselves at that point.
Which meeting is that? Am I supposed to be in that? Which one is
You're in
that?
another meeting. This is the MIWA meeting. but
Oh, the
this is
MIWA,
a different
okay.
group.
The benefits.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm at the fire. I think that's a fire board Thursday night, right?
Oh, you're busy.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's-
Right, yeah. All right, so I'm going to post a special parks meeting for that night. So
Yes.
yes, if you can join, and then I'll just send you a reminder of the date. So if you can join us, it'd be great.
Yeah, and I think Wes might have an update for us tonight on the Facemeyer going back out there and talking to us about getting those punch out items done on the existing phase 2 trail that's there. Okay. All righty, anything further there, ladies and gentlemen?
Nothing else there.
Okay, how about Source Point programming updates? I know Daryl had a meeting with, was Claire Decker, is that right, Daryl?
Yeah, so I spoke with Claire once.
Mhm.
I also spoke with Chauncey Montgomery over at the library. So what I've got for you tonight is an update on my conversation with Chauncey and what happens next with the Source Point folks. So it's just a reminder. I had a phone conversation with Claire at one point. She said that the library does some programming with them as well. I agreed to talk to the library just to make sure we weren't duplicating efforts or undermining their efforts. So that Chauncey came out to meet with me, and here's essentially what he was saying. They offer the following programming right now at the library. They do yoga, they do Tai Chi, and they do a little bit of educational programming as well in connection with Source Point. So the types of programming that they do is like Medicare training and caregiver support group training. They do that on a pretty regular basis. I think about half a dozen people or so are meeting monthly at the library on the caregiver support side of the program. The yoga classes are offered Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the Tai Chi classes are offered Wednesday morning. So, those are programs that at one point we talked about maybe the city helping do, but I think they feel like they've got a large number of classes out at the library at the moment. So,
Okay.
where Chauncey did think they had a deficiency, he thought we could offer maybe more educational programming opportunities because, again, they're not doing much on the educational front. He thought maybe we could offer more socializing training opportunities or opportunities as well. This, again, is a category of group of courses that Claire has told me they have. So they're just going to now begin to sort through, well, what types of socializing classes, what kinds of educational classes might be of some interest here. A couple of other points that Chauncey had indicated to me is that the size of the library room, if you max it out, he thinks is about 75 people. Our space is probably less than that.
Mm.
So that would be the larger programming, maybe the library, a little bit smaller programming here. He says they have not had great success doing programming in the evening. They generally set that aside for community groups to use the library space. So if there's an opportunity to do something on the 55 plus group in the evening, that again might be a city opportunity. We have a kitchen, they don't have a kitchen. So I've raised that with Claire. So that may be an option for some like low-level arts classes for the seniors. The library is closed on Sunday. So again, Sunday might be an option for programming for us.
Yeah, that's always been a bone of contention with me. It's the one day I want to read a book or something. I have time, really have time to relax and do it, you know. It's always been closed. Are they considering ever opening up on Sunday?
He told me if they did additional hours, they would probably extend their days, the existing days, as opposed to going to Sunday. So again, Sunday may be an opportunity for us and CareSource to do something. SourcePoint, sorry, to do something. He talked that the middle of the day is a particularly busy time at the library, late morning till mid-afternoon. A lot of that is because they have school classes that are coming in throughout the school year. So we would want to probably pick times that are, I mean, that might be a good time for us to do some programming while they're busy doing things that are more educationally related for the students. Obviously the summer, they're not as busy at these times, so that's just at least something to keep in mind.
Okay.
And I guess the final point that we talked about is that he indicated the library would be willing to kind of co-promote anything that we're doing. I think that right now they've got a pretty regular half page in the Eagle Examiner. He says they do promote their senior activities through that as well. So he'd be happy to promote some things that the city might be doing as well. So
we could co-promote on our Facebook page.
We don't want to compete with the library. We want to complement what the library has.
Absolutely.
Sounds like.
I mentioned all of that to Claire on the phone.
Yes.
And so she's thinking about kind of those gaps and what might be opportunities for us. She is looking for a date to come visit. I've offered her either next week or the following week. Hopefully she'll be here to take a quick tour of the downtown or the downstairs just to see what it is. And I guess that might begin to help her formulate some ideas. The final thing she said is we may then also, as a kickoff opportunity, may want to do some sort of a brainstorming session or something, kind of a little bit of a community outreach effort, see if the community identifies some gaps that they see. Or maybe we could pitch some of the ideas that they're thinking about and we could get some feedback from the community before we schedule anything. So
They also help people with income taxes. And is that through SourcePoint or is that something else that they have going on out there?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can ask that. That's a good question. I did include in your packet the brochure that they hand out related to their community programming. I mean, it doesn't say a whole lot. I think it starts on page 6 there. But they maybe just give you a little bit more insight into kind of what they're doing in the community or what they're doing in other communities as well. But I'll ask the question specifically about the taxes.
Yeah, excellent work, Daryl. So the next step would be, again, you're going to meet with Claire, follow-up meeting with her. Yep. And then potentially some more information to kick around with our next parks meeting. Yep. In 30 days. Maybe we could have Claire or Jackie here. Okay. At that, feel free to invite them. Maybe that's the point where we can kick around, maybe a kickoff opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they can start to share what they think might be some of the best opportunities, and you guys can react to whether you think it's, in the ballpark.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. Okay, next item on our list is Rosecrans Park tree inspection, next steps. So as you might recall, our last meeting, Aaron Noblet had reached out to me and said he'd been over there and noticed, I think, 3 specific species of trees that there's some issues with. And he's recommending we do a walkthrough and identify those and determine whether or not we want to remove them. So I've had a couple text messages with him since then. We have yet to get a date set up, but I hope to do that hopefully next week with him. And we'll see what he has to say. Maybe that's something, Daryl, if Steve or you are up to it, I'd like to have one of you guys with me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can walk through it together. And
Is there a time of year that's better for removing those kind of trees than not? And Because if they're at a point in time when they're on full leaf and they're lively, the stuff that's gonna spread around as they take them down is gonna loft seeds everywhere. That's my understanding anyway. So it might be a good question to bring up with Aaron when we're talking to him about it.
Absolutely. Timing of the takedown.
Yep. We definitely want to ask a tree expert, not me. Now, if Steve were here, Steve would probably say, well, there's the Indiana bat issue. And there's a portion of the year when you can't remove trees, or at least a bulk number of trees. And that's actually, I think, happening right now. So now would not be even the ideal time for that reason. So, but we'll get
But Aaron will know that.
I was gonna say, but let's get the real expert.
He knows his stuff.
He is sharp. Yes, he is. Okay, when we set that, I'll let you guys know if you're available. And if you do want to come, we'll have to post that.
Yeah, if we have more than one member,
Right.
if you guys want to join us for that walkthrough, then we'll schedule a special meeting. Yep.
Okay, very good. That kind of leads me on to my next item. I was under new business I wanted to bring up for going out and inspecting some things. So we got the summer season here, just getting started. Always like to make sure that our parks are at their best and they look their best.
Mm-hmm.
So Daryl, can you make a note to get with Brad if it's not already on his list? I want him to do a walkthrough of each park. I want to make sure that, we're inspecting all the parks. We want the general appearance and upkeep to look better than average, in my opinion, the best they can. It gets most of its visitors this time of year, and especially the trash can stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had issues with trash in some parks over the years and keeping those containers in place. So if you can make a note to get with him, and maybe that's a volunteer opportunity too, right, for our volunteers, the group. If he identifies something specific that he thinks needs to be done that maybe he's overwhelmed with right now, maybe you can put that on the volunteer list. Okay,
That's a good idea. Absolutely. Okay.
all right. That's kind of all I had. Anything else?
I went to the memorial service at J.R. Smith Park on Monday,
Yes. How was it?
and I got my ear bent almost off my head
Oh no.
over the fact that
Bleachers.
the bleachers had three of the top three rows had caution tape on them, so people could only sit on the bottom two rows. And I explained to them that it's a health department issue because if you have 5 rows of bleachers, you have to have a handrail across the back.
Yes.
And one of the guys there was grumbling about, he heard it would cost $20,000 to fix them. Then he says to me, and 20 guys gave their life for each one of those dollars so that we could have our ceremony down here. And he was real upset about the fact that the bleachers have been sold. So we need to figure out, working together with them. It's going to continue to happen at J.R. Smith Park. Can we work something out with the schools? We used to actually borrow bleachers from one of the schools to take down there to set up for Memorial Day. So there are some other options available, but we need to start looking at that because we're going to be hearing more about it as next Memorial Day approaches.
Yeah.
So,
Did you look and see, could you tell Dave, were there enough seats there
oh yeah,
with the
There were
bleachers
plenty of
even
seats.
cordoned off?
yeah. Yeah, there were plenty of seats. The PA system they have is just 2 small speakers that were pointed straight ahead. So if you were sitting toward one of the bleachers or the other, you had a very hard time hearing what was going on. But that's a matter of adjusting the speakers a little bit and that kind of stuff. But there was enough seating. It's just that it's so spread out, it wasn't a warm feeling of people together, and, commemorating the loss of loved ones and the loss of military and more. So
Okay.
it just, yeah. But we need to be prepared to deal with some of those issues in the future.
Is that person, or can you mention the person's name? Is he looking for us to follow up with him immediately on something, or how did you leave it with him? Or how
I
did
didn't say
how
much.
did he leave it with you?
I let him talk, and then I went and found a place to sit and mind my own business. So
He's not
I'm
expecting.
not in a position to, he has talked with Steve Piles about some of this before.
Okay,
It wasn't anybody or anything new,
okay.
but he was letting everybody that was around him know what he knew.
Why don't we do a little follow-up phone call, Daryl?
Mhm.
If it's the same individual that Steve's been communicating with, maybe we invite him in, and maybe you guys can meet with him to begin with and see if there's some solutions we can talk about for next year. That'll work for both sides. Because those bleachers, now that Memorial Day service is finished, I think they were sold in total and they're about to be removed,
They are.
right?
Well, see, and the thing that I was wondering, the square, there were a lot of people on the square, but there was a lot of room on the square for vendors and stuff. So what if we were to dedicate this corner of the square to the Memorial Day celebration isn't the right word, but then you could have people set up here because they stop here and do a 21 gun salute at this memorial out on the corner. So why not have the program right near the memorial that is for military people
Sure. why
that
not?
died in war?
This is a much more visible
Yeah,
location
it's a
for them.
memorial corner.
Right.
So what if we were to look at having the event there? Because as slow as I walk, a lot of these guys walk even slower than I do because they're quite a bit older than me, some of them. And so to have to walk all the way from J.R. Smith Park up to here to stop, then to go to the cemetery and stop and do a 21 gun salute, and then go back across the road to the Fallen Heroes Memorial for another 21 gun salute. It might make life easier for them if we could dedicate this corner
Mhm.
to doing their service.
Totally, yeah. Maybe that's an amicable resolution, Daryl, we can propose it. Maybe,
Because there were a lot of vendors on the square, but there was a lot of wide open space also.
Yeah.
So there's room for moving those vendors around a little bit.
Yeah, it'll probably take a little bit of work with the band boosters who sponsored the event. So, and maybe when it comes before the events committee next year, we'll be ready to kind of address that.
Well, I'd plant that seed with the band boosters sooner than later
Yeah.
because they're already planning for next year, I'm
I'll
sure.
bet.
You
Okay.
know.
And we'd want to talk about that with the group that does the.
Right.
Excuse me,
That would
'cause
be
they
the
very
first
know-
contact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might not be interested in changing it.
Right.
But
Right.
if it can
But
help at all.
we could put bleachers up right out here as easily as all of them down there, you know.
yeah, and, we have future renovation plans for J.R. Smith Park.
Right,
So
yeah.
at some,
Well, and
Good
that was
idea.
somebody
Start thinking.
grumblingly talked about the fact, yeah, they want to turn this into a parking lot.
no parking lot.
I said, that's the
Oh, I heard
first I heard that.
Not to my knowledge, I don't want any park. That's a park. That's a
I'm
park.
just-
and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
that
made.
is
Well,
like, that's
and that's
crazy.
what I
We're
told
gonna
him.
enhance
He
it.
says, well, I've
Make
seen
it
the
more
drawings.
attractive.
He says, well, I've seen the drawings and they want to make this a parking lot. First I heard it. I told him it was the first I heard that.
There's a section over there, maybe where the bleachers are now, that'll become part of an expanded parking lot, but the
Yeah.
vast majority of
Which
the
would be
space
good for the
Yeah.
area.
Can be
'cause the
enhanced.
parking
Right.
is
with,
difficult over there.
That's their place and that's what I'd like to see them embrace this corner as their location, since it is a memorial corner. It's a veterans memorial corner.
Mhm.
Do you have a sense of how many people participated down at the J.R. Smith event?
There were probably 150 people there, maybe 200.
So, but all of them didn't sit in the bleachers then. So some
No.
are standing around or have brought their own
Well, they had
chairs?
chairs set out for the veterans that were there.
Okay.
There were 15 or 20 of them sitting on chairs, and then there were people standing around. They always are. Yeah.
Well, it's a first step. We'll reach out to, I believe, the same individual that you're referencing that Steve spoke with, invite him in and talk a little bit about the event and how it went.
Yeah.
What the options might be moving forward. I think as a reminder, Steve did mention, I think at the last meeting, that he, I think, was at least considering that from the proceeds or a portion of the proceeds, he may consider some replacement bleachers.
That's right. I
Whatever
think-
that may be. Maybe more mobile bleachers, but
I think 16,000 may have been the number for the bleachers.
well, that
For
was
the whole
so-
auction.
That was the whole auction.
That was the whole auction.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little short of 16.
Some part of that with the bleachers.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
some of those proceeds we could use,
Right.
earmark for some temporary bleachers, I suppose. Yeah, that's not the only event in the future we're gonna want them or need them.
Well, we could use them for parades.
Oh,
and-
yeah, yeah, all sorts of
Yeah.
things. Okay, very good. Thanks, Dave. For the next meeting, I want to sort of gear our minds toward thinking about the next park project. We got our master plan and we're kind of chipping away at the reservoir. So that's our near future focus. But what's next?
Okay.
Give that some thought. I think J.R. Smith is probably the most obvious and appropriate, given the location where it's at.
And that we're clearing it out anyway.
And Ohio to Erie Trail here, hopefully in the next couple of years, will be making its way through and adjacent to
Right there,
that, to
yeah.
that.
I think it'd be fitting for us to ask Dale or somebody what it would take to get sanitary sewer to Freedom Park. Because if we want to expand the use of Freedom Park, we've got to address traffic, we've got to address facilities. So it might be good to see if we can get Dale to comment on that. Dale Wampler, I'm referred to.
Okay, yep.
That'll be pricey.
Hmm?
I said that'll be pricey.
It probably will, but if, we can at least start, we can create a wish list.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggies. It's either-
Somebody might win the lottery and have to pay a whole lot of money in income taxes.
Mhm.
How much did the people that won the lottery several years ago have to pay?
1.4 mil, I believe, was 1%.
1%, okay.
I think they chose the cash out option, and that was a check for 140 million, I believe.
Come on.
Less taxes. 1.3, so it would have been 1.3 million.
130 million, yeah.
Cash
We're
out
gonna need
take.
more than that for sewer, but
Yeah,
yeah. we're-
Well, we have sewer very close to there, though.
Okay.
It's a matter of getting a pipe under
Yeah,
Route 3 and connecting up. It's, so.
I mean, we do have the sewer line there connecting my backyard that the school connected to, as in my parcel. And that can run up the hill, Freedom Park and
what
across the
sewer
street.
do we have at J.R. Smith?
What's that?
What sewer capabilities do we have at J.R. Smith? They have sewer at those buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
those
is there
buildings.
sewer underneath the park?
If it's that close, it's very accessible. Yeah, it's
That
not
won't be a problem, expanding that if we had to move.
Because they have a line that goes to all those houses up from it. So
Okay.
that means that line's going right under the park there.
Well, we'll commit to looking at the master plan before the next meeting.
Yeah, and we should reach out to Wes or CT, just let them know, hey, look, we want to start thinking about
Yeah.
our next step. What park is it going to be and how can we approach its improvement?
What funding is there
And
for
the
us?
funding. All the grant timing. Yep. Okay, all right. I think that's all I had. Anything else? Old or new business?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Mrs. Cooper,
Second.
second by Mr. Martin. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Daryl.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Motion approved, 3 ayes.
Thanks, everybody.
See you in a bit.